My name is Paulie, and I'm an author. Earlier today, I was reflecting on a verse in the book of Psalms that says, God is a very present help in times of trouble. And I think sometimes we are guilty of thinking that God is only interested when we are in deep trouble, when we are facing huge challenges and big frustrations. But I've learned over the years that God is interested in even our small daily frustrations, even our small inconveniences. He's very present and very willing to help. You know, I was reflecting on an incident that happened a few years back. My husband and my children and I had traveled together with some family friends to the coast for holiday over the December holidays. And we were staying together in a hotel and we were enjoying ourselves. Sometimes we'd wake up and go on tour. Sometimes we just spend the time by the poolside, swimming together or having a meal. And we're just having, a good time over Christmas like other families would. But then one of my small frustrations at that time was I didn't like to get into the swimming pool without my contact lenses because I'm not able to see very well without my contact lenses or at least a pair of spectacles. Now, because it's not possible to swim with spectacles, I would try to get into the water with my contact lenses. But then I devised what I thought was a very clever plan. And I would take swimming goggles and tie them tight across my face so that as I swam with my contact lenses inside my eyes, if they happened to fall out, they would be caught by the goggles and they would not fall into the water. So, and I thought this was very clever, and I was enjoying my holiday. I would be able to swim and see everything around me and, just have a good time. But then this one day, after I had finished swimming and I was coming out of the pool, I realized that I could not see clearly out of one eye. And sure enough, the contact lens had fallen out, gone past the tight goggles, and had fallen into the water. And now I began to panic because I didn't have a spare pair of contact lenses and I didn't want to spend the rest of the holiday not being able to see well. So I decided I really have to find this thing. So I immediately told everyone in the pool, please stop swimming, because by now we had come to know the other people in the hotel and we had become friendly towards each other. So I told them, stop swimming, I have to find this thing. And then I took a moment to pray and I said, God, you know how much I need this thing. Please, please help me to find it. And I began to search. So I searched for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But a contact lens is a really tiny thing and it's about the size of the nail on your little finger. On top of that, it's transparent. So you can imagine it's fallen into the water. It's tiny and it's transparent. Actually, it looks like a drop of water. So you can imagine trying to find it in such a huge swimming pool. So after searching for a while and enlisting the help of my friends, we couldn't find it. And, I kept praying to the Lord and saying, God, wherever you are, even though I can't see this thing, I know you can see it and you know how much I need it. Please, please help me find it. But after close to an hour of just treading the water carefully and making sure we are not creating waves so that we can find this thing, we were not able to find it. And everybody started getting impatient. And they were like, for sure you can't find this thing. It's just really too small. So my husband came and he told me, you know what, just come out of the water. And tomorrow morning, before the people who clean the pool come to clean, I'll be here and I'll help you find it. So I came out reluctantly, and I remember it was evening, it was going towards 5:30. And so we left the hotel with our friends and their children and we went for dinner. But then we ended up staying out a little late. And so I began to worry, will we really be able to wake up? And will my husband be able to wake up and keep his promise to find this thing for me? So when we got back to the hotel room, I set an alarm for 5 minutes to 6 because I knew they begin cleaning the pool at around 6 o'clock in the morning. And when the alarm rang in the morning at that 5 minutes to 6, I woke my husband up and I told him, now please do what you had said, keep your promise and help me find this thing. So I remember he got out of bed. He was really tired, but He got out of bed, got himself a bottle of water. And as he got to the door, I remember him turning back and asking me, now, how do I uh, describe this contact lens to the pool guy, the guy who's supposed to be cleaning the pool? And I told him, just tell him that it's a small thing about the size of the nail on his little finger, and that will help him find it. So he left, and I was left in the hotel room just praying and saying, God, please help my husband and the pool guy be able to find this thing. And sure enough, after less than 10 minutes, my husband came back. Even he by now was so excited. He's like, no, we found this thing. And he was holding it in the palm of his hand. And he said that they found it in the cables that pull in the dirt from the swimming pool. And it had not been damaged. It was in one piece and it was in good condition. And there it was on his hand. And I was so amazed and so excited, much as I had had faith that the Lord would be willing to help me find this thing. I was still amazed that He had ensured that they were able to find it in those cables in good condition, not damaged. And there it was in the palm of my husband's hand. When I shared this story on my blog and in one of my books, I titled it A Very Present Help, because the verse that came to mind was the one that I mentioned earlier, that God is a very present help in times of trouble. For sure, He knew what that little lens meant to me, and He was more than willing and more than able to help me find it, much as it may have looked like a small matter, a small frustration. He was more than willing to help me in my time of trouble. And for sure, He's a very present help whenever we need Him.